Sarah Ferguson, who many people call Fergie, is getting ready to do something very big and very brave. For a long time, she has tried not to do this, but now she is ready to share a huge secret. It is almost like she is holding a big bomb and is finally going to let it go. She has been very quiet and careful for many years because she did not want to cause any trouble. But now, everything is changing. She's preparing to tell the whole world the truth about her life and the royal family, even if it causes a giant explosion of drama for everyone involved. She is not holding back anymore, and this has everyone in the palace feeling very worried about what might happen next. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are feeling very, very nervous right now. They are extremely worried about the chance that Sarah Ferguson might write a book that tells every single secret she knows. They think that Sarah knows things about them that they wanted to keep hidden from the public forever. Because she was a part of the royal family for so long, she saw things and heard things that most people never get to know. This makes Harry and Meghan feel like they are in a very difficult spot. They are waiting to see what she decides to do, and the idea of her writing a tell-all book is making them feel very stressed and scared about their future. Meghan Markle has been sharing some new pictures on her Instagram page lately. In one of her stories, she showed herself going to a very famous place called Little St. James. This is a very special island that people talk about a lot. There was also a private plane that was flying to that same island on the very same day that Meghan posted her story. This makes a lot of people wonder if she was really there and what she was doing. People are looking at the dates and the flight records very closely to see if they can find out the truth. They want to know if there is a connection between her trip and the other people who used to visit that island. A website called Radar Online says that many book publishers have already talked to Sarah Ferguson. They really want her to write a book where she tells all the secrets she has been keeping for so long. One person who knows about the situation says that she could get a deal that would give her a lot of money. This money would make her feel very safe and successful for the rest of her life. She is thinking very hard about this because she knows that many people are very curious about what she has to say. She wants to make sure she can take care of herself, and a big book deal might be the best way for her to do that. Sarah Ferguson knows that the best way to get a lot of money is to write a book about her life, just like Prince Harry did. He received a huge amount of money, about $20 million, before his book was even finished. Sarah wants a deal just like that. She thinks that her stories are just as exciting and important as Harry's stories. She wants to be able to have a big payday so that she does not have to worry about money anymore. She is looking for a deal that will pay her a very large amount of money for her secrets, and she is working hard to make sure she gets exactly what she wants. There's a very big twist in this story that many people are starting to notice. Harry and Meghan are the same couple who made about $20 million from their own book called Spare, which told many secrets. But now, they are the ones who are feeling very nervous. They are scared about how Sarah Ferguson might describe their private moments and the talks they had when no one else was around. Sarah was actually there when a lot of things were happening, so she knows the truth about what went on behind the scenes. This makes them feel very uneasy because they cannot control what she might tell the world in her own book. The people who are the most scared about this are Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They are absolutely terrified because Sarah Ferguson is someone who could tell everything. She knows what really happened with them and the British royal family. She also knows a lot about Prince Andrew and what was going on with him. Because she was a part of the family for a very long time, she has all the information that could make Harry and Meghan look bad if she decides to share it. They are worried that she will tell stories that will make people change their minds about them, and they are feeling very unprotected right now. A man named Tom Sykes, who writes for a place called The Daily Beast, said that the people who work at the palace are also very worried. He said they are scared that Sarah might do what he calls pulling a Harry. This means someone gets a huge amount of money to tell a story that the royal institution cannot stop or change. The palace likes to have control over what people say about them, but if Sarah writes this book, they will have zero control over what she says. They are quietly worried that she will tell things that will make the monarchy look bad, and they do not know how to stop her. There's a very serious email that people found in some secret files about a man named Jeffrey Epstein. As far as everyone knows, this email is a real one. But even though it is real, nobody in the big news companies wants to talk about it. It is very interesting that the mainstream media is refusing to look at this email or tell people about it. This shows that some things are being hidden from the public. Many people think that the news should be telling the truth about these files, but instead, they are staying quiet and not saying anything at all, which makes people very suspicious. Even though some book publishers in the United States said no to Sarah's book for now, that does not mean everyone said no. Publishers in the United Kingdom or Australia might still want to buy her story and pay her a lot of money. Also, there is a chance she could get a deal to make a show on a streaming website like Netflix, or she could do a very big interview on television. There are many ways for her to tell her story and make a lot of money, even if some people do not want to work with her. She has many options, and she is looking for the best one. If Sarah Ferguson writes this big book, she will talk about some of the most famous and difficult times in the history of the royal family. One of the biggest things she would talk about is when Harry and Meghan decided to leave their jobs as royals. An insider told a magazine that Sarah has been studying exactly how Harry and Meghan did things. They did a big TV interview first, then they worked on streaming shows, and finally they wrote a book that everyone talked about. Sarah thinks this is a proven way to make sure people hear her side of the story, and to make a lot of money at the same time. The news is trying to ignore a very important fact about Meghan Markle. A woman named Virginia Roberts, who had a lot of trouble with Prince Andrew, wanted Meghan to be a witness in her court case. She said that Meghan was a close friend of Prince Andrew. It is not good for some people to have Meghan talk in court because she might know things that are not true. This is why some people think Meghan feels like she can do whatever she wants without getting caught. She feels like she is untouchable, and that makes people wonder what she is really hiding and why she is so confident. Sarah Ferguson is thinking very seriously about following a 3-step plan to tell her story. She wants to go completely against the royal family and tell everything. If she actually does this, it will be like a huge storm for the royal family. Right now, the biggest reason she wants to do this is because she needs money very badly. She needs cash right away. She also thinks that it is already too late for her daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, to have a big role in the family because Prince William is slowly making them less important. She wants to help them before they are completely pushed out of the family. There's a part of this story that almost nobody is talking about yet. It is the connection between Meghan Markle and Princess Eugenie. Once you understand how close these two women were, you can see why Meghan might be more worried than anyone else if Sarah starts telling private stories. Most people only know that Meghan used Beatrice and Eugenie to get closer to Prince Harry. But it turns out that their friendship was much deeper than that. They were real friends who shared a lot of secrets, and those secrets might now be at risk of being told to the whole world in a new book. In a book called Finding Freedom, it was written that Eugenie thought Meghan was a great person for Harry. They were such good friends that Eugenie even went to the Super Bowl with Harry. We have also seen her in California having dinner with Harry and Meghan. Eugenie and her husband were very close to them. They did not just act like royals. They acted like real friends who liked to spend time together. They went on vacations together and talked about many things. This means that Eugenie knows a lot of things about Meghan that other people do not know, and she might have told those things to her mother, Sarah. Eugenie even lived in Harry and Meghan's old house, Frogmore Cottage. She was living there with all of their things and maybe even some of Meghan's private notebooks or journals. The two couples even spent a lot of time together on double dates and private trips. They once went on a getaway to a place called Lake Como with the famous actor George Clooney and his wife. This was not just a polite way of being in the same family. It looked like they were very best friends who trusted each other with everything. This makes the whole situation very interesting because of all the secrets they might have shared. Things took another turn in 2020 when Harry and Meghan moved away to California. After they left, Princess Eugenie and her husband Jack moved into the house they left behind. This house was fixed up using millions of dollars from the people who pay taxes. For a while, they were living inside the home that used to belong to the Sussexes. This happened during one of the most dramatic times for the royal family. This detail makes the situation much more complicated because Eugenie was right there in the middle of it all, seeing everything that was happening in the house where Meghan used to live. Sarah Ferguson is the mother of Princess Eugenie. We are not sure how many secrets Sarah would be willing to tell, but it is possible that Meghan and Prince Andrew have met before. It is very suspicious because they both knew some of the same people. There are even pictures that show Meghan hanging around with people who were friends with Jeffrey Epstein. This connection is very important because it shows that they might have known each other much better than they say. If Sarah knows about this, she could tell the whole world, and that would be a very big story that could cause a lot of trouble for everyone. This connection matters because the bond between Meghan and Eugenie started during a very hard time for Meghan. When Meghan first joined the royal family, she had to learn a lot of new rules and people were always watching her. Reports say that Eugenie was one of the few people Meghan felt safe talking to. She told Eugenie about her frustrations and the things she did not like about living in the palace. She also told her about the difficult times she had behind closed doors. Because they were so close, Meghan shared many private thoughts that she probably thought would never be told to anyone else. The lawyer for a woman named Virginia Gioffer wanted Meghan Markle to give evidence in a court case. The lawyer said that Meghan knew things about Prince Andrew that were very important. There were conversations that Meghan had with her friends that were supposed to be private. Tom Sykes from the Daily Beast said that Sarah Ferguson's situation is very hard right now. She has no official job in the royal family, she has no money from the public, and she has very little protection. She is in a very tough spot, and that is why she might be willing to sell her secrets for a lot of money. In just 1 week, Sarah Ferguson went from staying at a very expensive place in Switzerland to a spa hotel in Ireland. She has also been to the Middle East asking people for money. She does not have many ways to make money left. Many charities have even stopped working with her because they found out she was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. She once called him her supreme friend, and that made a lot of people very angry. Now she is struggling to find a way to pay for her life, and writing a book might be the only way she can get the cash she needs to keep going. At the same time, her former husband, Prince Andrew, has lost all of his royal titles. He is also being watched very closely because of the bad things people say he did in the past. Financially, things look very messy for the family. Many of Sarah's businesses have closed down, and some people say she still owes a lot of money to others. Fergie has many secrets, and her need for money might lead her to do things that are very controversial. She might be willing to sell access to herself or her family secrets just to get the money she needs to survive. She has not been seen in public very much lately. There were also reports that she spent time at a very fancy wellness clinic in Switzerland that cost $17,000 every night. That is a place where only the very richest people go when they are having a hard time. Other reports say she has been staying in houses that belong to her friends and moving around a lot. Her friends are telling the news that she is under a lot of pressure because of money. History shows that she is not afraid to tell her side of the story, even if it causes a lot of trouble for other people in the royal family. Back in 1996, right after she got divorced from Prince Andrew, Sarah wrote a book called My Story. In that book, she wrote about borrowing a pair of shoes from Princess Diana. She said she found out she had developed warts on her feet after wearing them. This made Princess Diana so upset that they never spoke to each other again. They were never able to be friends before Diana passed away the next year. This proves that Sarah is willing to write things that make the palace very uncomfortable, and can even break up friendships that were very important to her in the past. Many people think that Prince Andrew and Meghan Markle have met before. Meghan was friends with people who were very close to Jeffrey Epstein. It is hard to believe that Meghan would not have been invited to the big parties that Epstein was famous for. These parties were full of many girls, including some who were actresses or models looking for work. If Sarah knows about these parties and who was there, she could tell everyone in her new book. This is another reason why Harry and Meghan might be so worried about what Sarah is going to write, and how it will affect their reputations. Things in the York family are also very dramatic right now. It was reported that Princess Eugenie has been getting a room ready for her mother at her very expensive house in Portugal. That house is worth millions of dollars. Meanwhile, Prince Andrew is spending most of his time at his home called Royal Lodge. He is very unhappy about losing his royal titles and he stays away from the public. This is the current picture of the York family. They are facing a lot of controversy, and they are trying to figure out how to keep their status and their money while everyone is talking about them. A friend of Sarah told a magazine that an honest book from her could show where the bodies are buried in the royal family. That means she knows all the biggest and darkest secrets. Another person said that the reason she wants to write the book is just as much about money as it is about her reputation. There is a good chance that Meghan knows something about Andrew because she has never said anything bad about him. Even when Harry and Meghan were attacking the rest of the royal family, they never said anything about Andrew. This makes people wonder if they were trying to protect him so he wouldn't tell secrets about them. After having some health problems and seeing her life in the royal family change so much, Sarah's life is very different now. The way the royal household is acting shows how seriously they are taking the possibility of her telling her story. Some people in the palace have even talked about taking legal action against her to stop the book before it is even written. This shows how nervous they are. Imagine being so scared of a book that has not even been started yet. This shows that they think she has things to say that could cause lasting damage to the family and the monarchy for a very long time. Prince William has already started to keep his distance from the York family. He is pushing Beatrice and Eugenie away from important royal events. They have been told to keep their public appearances limited. This is a very big change for them. A man named Andrew Loney, who writes about the royals, said that the princesses should probably give up their royal titles altogether. He said that once they lose their titles, people might not be as interested in them anymore. This is a very harsh thing to say, but it shows how much things have changed for the York family in the last few years. This is where the Meghan Markle part of the story becomes very important. We all know that some people in the royal family have behaved badly. Many people say that Meghan was not very nice to the people who worked for her. They say she bullied the chefs, the gardeners, and the people who helped the Queen. Some people say she was a very difficult person to work with when she first joined the family. If Beatrice and Eugenie ever lost their official royal status, they might not have any reason to keep quiet about these stories anymore. They might decide to tell everyone what they saw and heard. For many years, the palace has been able to keep the York family quiet by giving them status and a good reputation. But that only works if they have something to lose. Sarah Ferguson has already lost almost everything. She does not have a formal job or a good standing anymore. Prince Andrew's problems have brought a lot of negative attention to the whole family. They are scared of a book from Fergie because it might tell a different version of what happened. Harry and Meghan have been telling their version of the truth for a long time to make money, but Sarah might have a different story to tell. If Eugenie's role in the royal family keeps getting smaller, the power in the family could change. That is why some people think Meghan is watching Sarah very closely. If a book is written, it might not just be gossip. It could talk about specific things that happened, like the famous fight about the bridesmaid dresses before Harry and Meghan got married. Meghan said that the fight made her cry, but other people say it happened differently. Since Eugenie was very close to Meghan at that time, she might know what really happened, and she might have told her mother all about it. There are also some very serious questions about Meghan and a social club called Soho House. Before she met Harry, Meghan and Eugenie were in the same social circles. A man named Marcus Anderson helped Meghan and Harry meet for the first time. These social circles have been talked about a lot in the news lately. Nobody is saying that Meghan did anything wrong, but people are asking questions about who she knew and what conversations they had. A book could explore these details and tell people things they never knew before. This would be very hard for anyone to change once it is in a book. Some people believe that a book by Sarah Ferguson could challenge the stories that Harry and Meghan have told. It would not just be rumors. It would be a story from someone who heard things from a person who was there. Harry and Meghan got a lot of money for their book, and now they might face another book that says something different. Sarah was looking for about $11 million for her book, but some publishers thought that was too much. However, if she lowers the price and includes many secrets, publishers might change their minds very quickly and want to buy it. Imagine the headlines if a book told the real story about the bridesmaid dresses or the private talks about Kate. Those stories would be in the news everywhere. That is why Sarah Ferguson could become a very important voice in the story of Harry and Meghan. She has a unique connection because her daughter was so close to Meghan. Eugenie even lived in Meghan's old house and was a very good friend to her. Sometimes, the people who have the least to lose are the ones who end up having the loudest voice when the truth finally comes out. Everyone is waiting to see if Sarah will finally speak. The whole royal world is waiting to see what happens next. If Sarah Ferguson decides to go through with her plan, it could change everything we think we know about the royals. She is in a position where she can tell stories that no one else can tell. Because she needs the money and she wants to help her daughters, she has a very strong reason to write this book. Harry and Meghan are likely very worried about what might come out, and the rest of the royal family is watching very closely too. It is a very dramatic time, and Sarah Ferguson is right in the center of it all.